San Francisco restaurant owner and
local rapper
and rapper
Chino Yang.
Chino Yang.
Andy Yang, aka Chino Yang, called out Mayor London Breed for the city's crime problem.
The NAACP, Reverend Amos Brown, didn't mince words about his feelings regarding Chino Yang's apology, which was posted to Instagram yesterday.
Went to the media and told the untruth that he had been threatened.
I had no idea this extremely powerful individual has so much emotional attachment to London Breed.
This is the video that didn't sit well for Reverend Brown.
London Breed, you ain't nothing but a clown. When we really needed you, you would never be around.
Today, our guest is a very good friend of mine from San Francisco, Chino Yang and his homie Z. What's going on, guys?
It's good. Shout out to big homie Jeff.
Shout out to Jeffrey. It's been a long time, man. How you been, Chino?
Man, you're not gonna believe what I've been through for the past 6 weeks, man. It's too much to handle.
You know, it's funny because recently, all of a sudden, I saw your name pop in the news. And I started getting these text messages about, hey, have you heard of this rapper who's making big news in San Francisco recently, and they're trying to cancel him? And then I saw it was your name, Chino Yang, and I'm like, how is this even possible? So Before we get into that entire story, let's introduce who you are and what you do in San Francisco.
Okay, so I'm 1.5 generation, so I was born in China. Came to the U.S. at the age of 13, and then I'm 35 now. I am a hip hop artist. I'm a restaurateur. I have a couple joints in the city, and also I'm just a father of 2 kids.
We know each other from Rap of China.
Rap of China.
About 5 years ago, we were on the same TV show.
Absolutely.
And Chino Yang was known as the best freestyle rapper that...
Bilingual
freestyle rapper. And then you opened your restaurant called KungFood, is that right?
Yeah, so we had a business, we established our business 2015.
Right.
For a lot of people who don't know who I am, it was like, man, this minor rapper just made a big wave. Like, who the hell is this guy? It's just that, for the past, before COVID, I would just travel internationally.
Yeah.
So I was doing shows mostly in China and all across the U.S. So it's not like someone locally known, right?
Right. But after Rap of China, you came back to San Francisco and you continued doing your food business. Is that right?
Yeah. So I came back to the city, and then I did a national tour, and then just went back to the normal lifestyle.
Right. So you started KungFood, and I remember seeing online that you would actually post a lot of your content about you making food and giving back to the community, and like giving discounts or like giving like a huge scoop of chow mein or something to some locals, right?
Yeah, let me tell a story. It happens to be a year ago, one of my OG homie who works for the City Hall of San Francisco, who works for the mayor. He seen my rap music video, the one I just dropped.
Yeah.
So he told me the story about his parents came over to my restaurant 6 years ago, and they were about $5 short. And I just told his pops, I was like, yo, it's all good in the hood. Take it. So his pops went home and told him the story. Now he's been rocking with me ever since. And then when I asked him to show up in my video shoot, he was like, yo, Chino, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I got 5 more years before I get that pension. I work for the city, but for you, I'm gonna still show up because this ain't about race.
Okay, so let's talk about the music video, because that's honestly the main reason you're here. Because, after becoming a rapper in China and then a restaurateur, recently you've become somewhat of let's call it a political firecracker.
Well, when I dropped this music video, I spent a lot of money on it.
Hold on. So you wrote a song.
I wrote a song called San Francisco Our Home.
Okay.
And then I produced it and made it into a music video, right?
And what was the content of the song?
The content is about the incompetent city officials and the rampant crime, like burglaries and happens to small business, and the Asian hate, about the past killings, atrocities, these criminals committed in our community.
Right.
Especially in the AAPI community. I have enough of that, so I kind of just I just wrote out my talking points and I just rap it out. Not in a very sophisticated form, but it's just more like direct. Okay, this is how I feel. I'm frustrated, and this is how I express my discontentment about the current state of our community.
Okay, so let's circle back a little bit. So before you wrote the song, what motivated you to write it? So what happened in the past year, 2 years to your restaurant?
So in the course of 3 years, my young homie Z also knows that my restaurant got broke into 7 times. So if you do the math, it's less than every 6 months there's a breaking and vandalism. What really triggered to be the tipping point was my second joint, the barbecue joint, got broken into 2 weeks after KungFood got broken into. And all my friends in the 1 mile radius, all my restaurant friends, their business also got broken into, like 5 or 6 of them all happened to be in the same week.
Okay.
So I just couldn't take it anymore, man. I was like, man, this is it. I gotta do something for our community.
So your restaurant was broken into 7 times.
Yeah, including the barbecue joint is 8 times.
Okay, including 8 times. Your friends' restaurants have gotten broken into.
Yeah.
And when you informed the city officials, what was their response?
So let's talk about the police, right? I don't have a lot of animosity for the law enforcement.
Okay.
But at the same time, I feel like there's only so much they can do. This after second time filing the police report, I find it to be useless because they actually caught those 2 perps who broke into my restaurant the second time. They served me a subpoena. I went to the court, but the DA just let them go because it was in the midst of COVID. And they told me, Mr. Yang, unfortunately, we reached the maximum capacity of the prison system.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that during COVID, you were broken into.
Yes.
You talked to the authorities. They arrested the 2 perps. They were convicted.
Yes.
And then they said, sorry, we can't do anything about it?
That's exactly what happened. Because they served me a subpoena, I had to take a day off. And I was like, justice is about to be served. And I shouted to the detective who's been working along with me for the case. But then when I went to court, the DA talked me on the side. Hey, yo, dog, I'm sorry, Mr. Yang, but you know what? The case will be dismissed. That's it.
He knew beforehand that it was going to be dismissed.
Yeah, he talked to me on the side. He said it's going to be dismissed. I'm sorry. I mean, we're in the midst of COVID, and we just don't have enough resource.
Okay. So you let him free, and then a few months later, you get broken into again.
Exactly.
And again. And again.
Again, yeah.
And again. Which led you to write this diss track.
Right, and because freedom of expression is our last resort, right? I mean, for a civilian like me, has no connection at all. What can I do? Where would be the outlet for me to vent?
Right. Well, I remember because you would be posting things on Instagram stories, about your frustrations.
Exactly.
Right? About being, broken into, right?
Exactly.
Right? So you write the song, and then what happened?
Then one news outlet picked it up, and then it blew up like wildfire. The week after, it went viral.
Yeah.
Got a call from my sister that someone extremely powerful, someone who's well connected with senators and all the politicians.
Yeah.
Called out my joint, told my sister, hey, the house is on fire. If he doesn't repudiate his rap, we're gonna turn the whole black community against him.
Hold on. So someone called your sister?
Yep, because he was looking for me, but at the time I had a heart attack.
Right. You were in the hospital for a medical condition previous to this entire thing.
That's correct.
Right? So you were already under like medical duress. And then someone calls your sister looking for you.
Yes.
With like in a threatening tone of voice.
Very intimidating, man.
Intimidating tone of voice, threatening, saying, what is it? The house is on fire?
The house is on fire. And then if he doesn't repudiate, if Mr. Yang doesn't repudiate his rap, I'm going to turn the whole black community against him. Go look me up. You will know who I am. Wikipedia.
Okay, and what was his name?
Reverend Amos Brown.
Reverend Amos Brown. Reverend
Amos Brown.
Okay.
He's the head of the NAACP.
Okay.
One of the most powerful men in the West Coast.
Okay, so when I heard this, it really was shocking to me. And the main reason is because, I heard this song. I saw the music video.
Right.
There was nothing to do with race in the video or the song. I never heard anything you mention about anyone's race, actually. You're just talking about the mayor. You're just talking about your experience in San Francisco.
Right.
And it was just your experience. So were you very surprised when you heard this? Or what was your initial feeling when you got that call or you heard that message?
Fear. You know, I was because I just had a heart attack. I almost died. So the first thing came to my mind was I gotta solve this problem.
Right.
You know, all my family's life will be in danger.
Yeah.
You know, that's the first thing came to my mind. I was very afraid about the repercussions of me not to making an apology, not to repudiate my rap. So immediately I called up, Reverend Brown and tried to just try to resolve the issue with him.
Okay, so you call him. Obviously, you're scared because when someone says the house is on fire and you have kids and you have a restaurant that's been broken into 7, 8 times,
exactly,
you're going to feel intimidated. So what did you do after that?
Well, I talked to him in a very civilized way, and we had a very nice conversation. But during the 45 minutes over the phone, he continued to threaten me.
Threaten you, really?
Yeah. So he basically he repeated what he said to my sister, but he kind of just emphasized on the importance of it. He said, "Hey, son, you have no idea who you just pissed off, and who you just came across. That you don't want this type of smoke. Hey, you better do the right thing." So I find it to be very intimidating, also condescending. It feels like someone who talks down on you. And I only asked him this one question. I was like, Reverend, you are a man of God. Is this how you treat another brother in Christ? Because I'm a Baptist myself.
Yeah.
Right? You have authority over everybody. And on the back of my mind, I was like, for someone with a position like him, if he somehow incite any hateful image of me in his congregation, I'll be in big trouble, man.
Yeah.
Well,
also, if you're saying the house is on fire, that's almost inciting violence in some ways.
Exactly.
He
said, "Oh, you misinterpreted what I meant." But hey, it could be.
It's not saying, "Hey, young man, let's have a chat. Let me hear your concerns.
Exactly.
Let me listen to your experience in the city. Maybe we can do something about that, and you could take the song down." It was using intimidation tactics because you're an immigrant, young, new father, business owner, doesn't have any connections, right?
So much to lose.
Right, so much to lose. He didn't know that this would become a national story. He didn't know that everyone would be talking about it online. He didn't know the Asian community would rally around you.
Exactly.
That's what he underestimated.
That's true.
And do you think, actually, that's a good question. Do you think that had anything to do with it? You being an Asian immigrant, he felt that he's like, you know what? I can probably just make a phone call and make this all go away.
Well, you know what? That's actually a great question because it never came to my mind that how he perceived who I am as far as focusing on my weaknesses. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that if this happens, like reverse psychology, the mayor of Oakland is Chantal. She's Asian, right?
Right.
If any non-Chinese or non-Asian person write a diss rap song against her, they won't be getting the same type of backlash like I did.
Well,
right?
We wouldn't be saying that you're writing that song because she's Chinese or
right.
Asian. We wouldn't be using that.
It could be
that reason.
It could be anybody. If rest RP Ed Lee. But if Ed Lee was still in charge, and if the city was in such a decay, and if the crime was up, and our seniors are suffering all these atrocities and crime committed on them, I would have dropped the diss on Ed Lee as well. Right. And it doesn't matter the color. All it matters is a way for us to express our discontentment and frustration as a law-abiding and tax-paying citizen.
Right. So that's the interesting thing, that someone from, I don't like to say left or right, but someone from any political party was actually trying to suppress your freedom of speech just to express what you were going through.
Exactly. And also I had to bring up a point. You know, you do know that I have a diss track of Rabbit China,
Of
right?
course you do.
It's
You
online.
have diss tracks of a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, you know, the mayor is not the first person to be in your sights.
Right, Jeff. So I find it to be ironic that even in China, my rap song, you know, doesn't get the same type of backlash. You know, people want to force me to remove it from the internet, right?
It is ironic.
Right. It's
All
still
of your
there.
diss tracks in China have never, ever been censored.
Right.
Yet the one diss track you have here was you were forced to make an apology.
Right.
You were forced to take it down.
Right.
Right? And then you wrote a written apology.
Right.
The ironic thing is, I think he didn't know who he was messing with, and he didn't know the community that he was messing with.
That's
because
true.
once this story got picked up on social, what happened?
Well, I've just started receiving all sort of support, not only from the AIPI, but especially within the AIPI community.
Yeah.
A lot of people DM me, just blow them up. I used to have like 1,400 IG fans. Now I got like 5,000. But you know, I didn't do this for publicity.
You ain't
at all.
doing this for clout.
But
I know that.
it's just that I'm truly grateful, and the love that I receive first and foremost from the Asian community is overwhelming. It's incredible. I feel loved. I feel protected in the first, and then this has transcended race. It become a hot topic. People are having like social discourse over discussions, and a lot of non-Chinese, they start hitting me up, and all this news agency, all this printed press or online, whatever you call it, just blowing up my IG. But I kind of, at the time I was still in the active recovery phase.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I was still recovering from the heart attack, so I kind of just only give one exclusive interview. That was it, because
Well, that's the other thing, right? I mean, this topic goes so deep because there's a lot of ironies that happen, right? We're talking about the NAACP here, one of the biggest civil rights organizations historically in the country. And it sounds like they were weaponizing race against the Asian community. Not even the Asian community, just an immigrant Asian business owner.
Right.
For you to take down a song that was nothing about race.
Right.
So, number one, not just ironic, that's quite disgusting, number one. Number two, they underestimated our community and how we would rise up and rally around you. And after this story broke out, you probably started getting messages just from the Asian community. I know a lot of African Americans came to your side afterwards. Right. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a very intriguing feeling when the Reverend's church is only 3 blocks away from KungFood. It's only 3 blocks away.
So they know your restaurant.
Yeah. So a lot of these congregations, they dine and eat at my restaurant, right? They order takeout. So they get caught in between the midst of 2 opposition party, but so they kind of just shine away. And shout out to big homie Howard for holding it down. Some of the young shawty want to be a thug in the hood, kind of just held them back. They say, hey, stay away from Chino's joint. So it was really hard for the community because we are in the same community. We're serving the same people spiritually and also physically from our restaurant, right?
Right.
But people just I got people OG hitting me up. Hey, what's wrong, man? I mean, it's hard for me to take a side now. It's no longer about taking sides, but they say, you know what? Whatever happens, just find a way to meet the Reverend halfway. He's not a bad person, but we get it. I mean, it's effed up. It's messed up for anybody try to violate your first constitutional right. This ain't got nothing to do with race.
So let's just move on to the aftermath of this because that's what I'm actually more interested in.
Yep.
Because the vultures started, flying around and seeing a little blood. What happened to you? And I even got this from one of my friends. I got a text message saying, yo, you hear about this new rapper in San Francisco? He's he got canceled and he's going up against the mayor. I know the opponent of the mayor and he wants to get to know Chino. Can you find out who this guy is? And if it got to me, your DMs must have been blowing up. news people, about political figures, anyone trying to use your story and make you a political pawn. What happened?
Well, what happened was I just rejected. I just politely asked them to not to contact me. I mean, I respectfully declined the offer because I am neither for the left nor for the right. I mean, I just want to live a simple life and just want to be home with my kids and my wife. And it's beyond my ability as a civilian to even have a tiny bit of grasp about the optics of politics. Like, I'm not equipped with all this, money and power and all that.
Yeah.
I was worrying so much, and shout out to the AJM AJM, the lawyer, Brother Charles, for kind of just help me to put a bet to this, because we had a resolution, sat down.
Okay, so explain that. So what happened? So after the community rallied behind you, got on the news, the story got out, and everyone realized how ridiculous it was. I saw that you had to sit down.
I had to sit down with the Reverend. It was a very productive meeting.
Okay, what was said in that sit down? I'm very curious.
So his left and right hand man.
Okay.
So that's the OG Howard. Howard. He's a OG, well-known, well-established OG in the community. And another doctor from NAACP.
Yeah.
He's a surgeon at the UCSF. And then the lawyers that represented me. Shout out to AJM. So we sat down on the table. The Reverend, when I got there, the Reverend grabbed my hands and made the first sincere apology.
He made you an apology.
Yeah, he said, Mr. Yang, it is not up to my wish to have you misinterpreted my message when I say house on fire, and I got caught in the moment for saying those things that might mislead you into thinking anything else.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. So he said, "I'm sorry if you misinterpreted, and I'm sorry if I misled you with those words."
Yeah, but that's not opening. That's not his opening statement.
Come on, bro.
But he was like,
"House on fire."
He was like, "I'm sorry." He looked me dead to my eyes, and I'm sorry. So I accept his apology. That's why I wrote it's a sincere apology. But sometimes, when you're dealing with someone who's extremely powerful, sometimes you just got to take a step back. Take a step back to get ahead.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So, first of all, you're a very big man to take that meeting, because I know a lot of people that wouldn't and would just fight tooth and nail to not resolve, right? Because to them, it's a photo op. We come together, put this to bed, right? But I do also respect that you did that, because we do know that there has been this Asian hate movement where you've seen let's say, I don't want to say split, but you could see different minority groups going up against each other, specifically African Americans and Asians, right? And we've seen that a lot happening online in videos and whatnot. So you taking that meeting, I feel actually was a step towards a certain type of healing,
Right.
that we all need to do as minorities, as just humans. So I respect you for really taking that meeting and really, let's say, just calling the peace, because I'm sure many people in your situation would have done that. I'm not sure I would have either, but I respect you for doing that. Was that part of your calculus?
To be honest, my young homie here has been with me since the very beginning of Stop Asian Hate.
Yeah.
He lives like 2 hours away from me, right? And then he just travels all the way, homie Z. I kind of show him, if you ask him, 30% of the riders that are riding with the Stop Asian Hate movement were African Americans, brothers and sisters. They rock with us, So, and you can tell that every time when I post something about the Black community, it's always positive.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be building a bridge in between two communities.
Yeah.
So I had to take that step in order to kind of just divert the tension a little bit, because it feels like we were getting to the tipping point that the Asian community might start a new race war against the Black community.
Yeah.
After what happened to me, because everybody like, oh man, this guy, man, he a wuss.
Right.
You a coward, man, for you to take that offer, man.
Well, it kind of felt like he's wanted to start it, right? And
Right.
we were going to finish it.
Right.
And that would lead just to more violence, more hate, more division.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm saying that the fact that you took that meeting is a very big deal that people don't actually realize.
You know, I like to quote from my big homie, Charles. He said, "People don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, right? You always got to look at the bigger picture. Like, what can you do for the community? You can only do so much, Andy. But here's the thing: you've done your due diligence. Now it's time for them to make the judgment. Like, you can't make everyone happy, right? It is what it is.
You made your apology, you were intimidated, now you got your apology from him, you guys made up and all that. You lived in China and now you live in the US.
Right.
Right? So you have actually a unique perspective
Exactly.
in a lot of different systems, let's say. Right? So yeah, just share your thoughts. What do you feel like after this entire experience?
You know, I had an epiphany the other day that we've been this might be something very controversial, but I
Bring it. That's why we're here, buddy.
I have to say
Bring
this.
it. Let's go.
I felt like my family has been here since 1989, so we've been here for a little sometimes, 3 decades already.
Yep.
We've always been a supporter of inclusiveness,
Okay.
integration,
Yep.
and all that, diversity and all
Yep.
that, all for it.
For sure.
After this event, man, it kind of just helped me to reshape. Also, have me start redefining about the true democracy of this nation. Like what do we fit in as an Asian American? I cannot speak on the behalf of anybody else, but it kind of triggered this sort of a questioning about my own identity. Like, even though I wasn't born here, but spent most of my life, 24 years of my life here, I could be as American as anybody else here. But what do we really fit in as an Asian American, as a Chinese American? This sort of minority myth, right? Like, I grew up in the hood. I grew up 1500 block, Baby Hunters Point.
Yeah.
Like, ain't nobody told me how to act, how to behave. We used to hang around with different minorities, and I used to, using the N words all the time because we got the N word pass. They call me Ching Chong Chink, that yellow boy there,
Right.
I mean, just wait, it's an endearing term in the hood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But now everybody, like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel lost. Like, how should I teach my kids about their identity here? Like, where do they belong? Where do they fit in terms of being an American?
Well, it's an interesting topic because I feel like America is actually trying to find its identity as well. I think if you ask 10 different people from 10 different states what an American, don't even say what American is, what an American looks like, they're going to tell you 10 different things.
Exactly.
Right? I'll tell you for damn sure, most of them are not going to say that looks like me or you. They're not going to say that it looks like that. Maybe like 10%, 20% of them will say that, right? Like, I think it's pretty obvious that, that's why they call us Chinese Americans, Asian Americans, AAPI, African Americans. There's different types of Americans, right? So I feel like it's an interesting subject because there is no answer, actually, to that question. What's the American identity?
And not mean to cut you off, but the Cat Williams interview, right?
Yeah, let's blow it up, baby. Let's go.
It's blowing up.
They
right?
did 25 million. Let's do 20.
Hey, it feels like we are getting to into the stage of awakening.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe what Cat Williams said, it's time for awakening, man.
Yeah.
Like, people start waking up. I mean, I had enough of this cancel culture, man. Like, this sort of a PC, and I'd rather have someone call me a Chinaman in front of my face than say hi, shake my hands, and go around and say, man, yeah.
Well, it's odd that they try to cancel you. Of all people, they will cancel you. Of all people that they would try to put the African American community against is you, which is absolutely absurd. So I'm really happy you were able to come share your story here with us. Just lastly, before we just end this entire topic. So do you have a good outlook on what's happening? Or was this whole fiasco just a media fiasco?
Man, I mean, what I can tell you is, the business has gone up a little bit.
Okay.
Because we've been receiving more supports from the community.
Okay, that's good.
And also, ever since this whole thing become an internet frenzy, got blow up, I feel like I can no longer walk around covering my face, like living in fear, because the more it's on the internet, the less might be happening to me, the less dangerous I am. As far as I don't know who's out there to get me, right? But I'm still trying to get rid of that sort of a traumatized mentality, because I still feel like, okay, they're plotting against me.
Yeah.
They're just waiting after the election and something might happen to me. But I kind of want to make it clear. I mean, if a man makes, a mistake, or if a man pisses off somebody, just come to the man, leave his family alone. Anything happens in the future, I cannot predict, but I just hope that after the election, they will just forget about me and just let me get back to the kitchen and make some kung pao chicken.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean by people thinking, the positives and the negatives of Asians being the model minority, right? The negatives is they think we're easy to push around because we don't want no problem, right? But the good thing is we don't want no problem. We put our heads down, we work hard, we try to be productive in the community, make a good living for our families. And that's all we're asking for.
Yeah, every single cent, every single dollar I make, I pay Uncle Sam, fair and square. You know what? That's 100% factual statement. I mean, I ain't got no cash. Give me some cash.
All right, man. All right, Chino, thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it for having me on.
I know everyone's trying to get you on interviews and stuff, but I just wanted to give you a platform that you could actually tell
big
your
homie,
story.
I really appreciate it, Jeff. I mean, you were actually a very few friends that it was courageous enough to reach out to me.
Yeah. I'm
grateful to have someone like you. Like, you celebrity status. You've been a celebrity for 2 decades now, man, since you were 16. So what I'm trying to say is I'm with my young homie. He's the leader of Freeze Gang, so I kind of want to give him a shout out. He's really been to every single rally with me, and that's how we pass on the torch, like to bring awareness and to fight for our community, right? That's how I want to close my closing statement. Is like that, They are the generation, young generation, 28 years old. His prime time. You gotta be responsible to pass on the torch for the next generation.
Yeah.
Just like how you pass on to the 2-year young homie like me.
Right? Pass it forward, baby.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Thank you guys for coming on, man. Thank you for your story.
Right on, big homie.
Cool. Peace.
San Francisco becomes a frequent target for thieves and vandals. KungFood near Alamo Square claims the city isn't doing
This is
enough
the
to help
owner
out
of KungFood
as they are
Restaurant.
again picking up
After
the
I got
pieces
broke into
after
7
yet
times,
another
Ace King
break.
got broke into once, man. I ain't got no choice but to record this diss track. Hey, last time I checked, Chinese in this country does have these constitutional rights. So that's the beauty of music. I'm about to drop these beers. San Francisco, that's my home. Let me put it in a song so you never get wrong. It's a city by the bay, that's what I grow up. No matter what I'm in, this is place I love. San Francisco, that's my home. Let me put it in a song so you never get wrong. It's a city by the bay, that's what I grow up. No matter what I'm in, this is place I love. Now everybody, let me see your hands in the air. Now throw your 2 middle fingers up to the mayor. I'm trying to run a business in the SFC. A punk ass tweaker keep on messing with me. I'm just a man trying to provide for my son and my daughter. In the city with dollar on order, I'm barely making the quarter. Out the 15 cent, it's hard to be a man when cooking politician want to see me getting burned. Now let him breathe, you ain't nothing but a clown. When we really needed you, you would never be around. You done turn this great city into the zombie land. They do all kind of thirst here. One try in a small town. This just how I feel. I gotta keep it real. This ain't no fairy tale. My people getting killed. You might be thinking I'm just another joke. You don't believe what I said? Take a trip to the TL. San Francisco, that's my home. Let me put it in a song so you never get wrong. It's a city by the bay. That's what I grow up. No matter what I'm in, this is place I love. San Francisco, that's my home. Let me put it in a song so you never get wrong. It's a city by the bay. That's what I grow up. No matter what I'm in, this is place I love. You know I'm 100% down with the Black Lives Matter. But what about our grandmother? What about our grandfather? They getting tagged, they getting robbed, they getting killed, and the DA just dropped another murder charge. I'm sick and tired of dealing with the phony ass liberal. They acting like the kid but never treat us as an equal. My people been here for over 200 years, so save your fake sympathy, your crocodile tears. I'm sick and tired of Asian being kicking to the curb. Justice for Grandpa Fish, a little just but never served. I wish I could be calling out all of the name. Wait out to do whatever to make sure they didn't die in vain. Ain't nothing gonna change if we remain silent. Now Father, please help us to stop all the violence. Now every night I pray to go back to the old day when the Bay was the greatest city in the whole state. If you are going to San Francisco, make sure to leave nothing in your cars. If you are going to San Francisco, make sure to leave no money in your purse.
7 break-ins or vandalizations since 2020, and the owner tells me he's reached out to local leaders and gotten nowhere.